Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Renewal Center's Tea Time Tuesday, our special edition. And so glad to be back and so glad to see you this evening, Patrick.
It's good to have you back. Thank you for being
Thank,
on.
thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Hello, Tea Time community out there. We hope that you are having a wonderful Tuesday evening and that you are inviting your friends and your family to join us tonight. I'm telling you, hello, Monique. It's good to see you tonight. And who else is out there? I think I see Crystal. Hello, Crystal. It's good to see you as well. And Renita. Hello, Nita. It's good to see everybody coming on board. Don't forget to go ahead, like and share this broadcast. Invite your friends and family to share in with us tonight. I'm telling you, we are closing out the month of October, which is Emotional Intelligence Month, and we got a lot in store for you. So grab your tea, get your tea time journal. Yes, we got a lot going on to finish out this month. And Patrick, he's just been doing such a phenomenal job carrying Tea Time Tuesday.
Thank you.
Especially during Emotional Intelligence Month. And I'm telling you that we are ready to continue on with his topic tonight, which is going to be emotional intelligence from self-sabotage to self-stewardship. So I am excited and so glad to be back on board. You know, again, we are closing out the month of October. So that brings us to breast cancer awareness. As you know, breast cancer awareness is about just taking the time to increase awareness about breast cancer, promote early detection and screenings, and educate about exams and research concerning breast cancer awareness, and to celebrate those that are survivors and those who are in the journey. And so, as we are saying, we would like to continue on for the rest of the month of October, celebrating breast cancer awareness. And with that in mind, we are in Emotional Intelligence Month. As you all know, emotional intelligence is celebrated in the month of October, and that is increasing awareness. What this is a campaign that encourages us to become more aware about emotional intelligence, understanding our emotions, and developing healthier minds through self-awareness, interpersonal relationships development, empathy, and how we relate to others. So emotional intelligence, the month of October, we're excited about that. I can't wait to hear what we're going to talk about tonight during Tea Time Tuesday. And I hope you got your tea. Again, what kind of tea is out there? You guys go ahead and put your tea in the chat. What kind of tea are you drinking, Patrick?
You know, I don't know, but I know what it says. It says kindness is the gift of life.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I forgot which one it is.
It sounds like it tastes good.
That's what it says on the tea bag. So
that's a positive tea. Okay. Yes. Well, you know, I'm gonna pass this over to Patrick for a minute. As you know, we have Hurricane Melissa going on in Jamaica with a Category 5, and I'm just going to turn this over to him so we can go ahead and just lift up those that are over there in Jamaica tonight.
Thank you, Carmela. Let's all pray together. Father, we just thank you today, Lord God, for your grace and your mercy towards us. Lord, we just take a time to pause, Lord God, and intercede for the nation of Jamaica, all of its families and citizens and relatives. We ask for your grace. We ask for your mercy upon them, Lord, during this time. We give you praise, Lord God. We thank you there'll be an outpouring of love, an outpouring of compassion for those that may be suffering and experiencing this challenging time. In Jesus' name, amen. We thank the Lord for his mercy. Yes.
Yes. Amen.
Yes. Yes.
Protection for them.
And safety. Yes. Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you for that time. Thank you all for giving us that opportunity just to pause here on Tea Time, because we do pause. And sometimes that means we pray. We just take a time to be compassionate and to be loving. Yes. And so want to make sure if you have an opportunity to support people through different tragic situations, please do so at your leisure and your capacity. All right.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to continue on our Tea Time Tuesday with the tea of the week. I'm sure everyone is excited that we are in the month of fall, my favorite season, actually. Is this your favorite season, Patrick, or is it summer?
Oh, it's fall for
Oh,
sure.
it's fall. Yeah, okay. Yes, you're the scarf man.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay. Well, we're, to just kick it off, with our chill that's here. We're going to talk about our tea of the week, which is vanilla cinnamon milk tea. And of course, it looks like chai tea a little bit. And this is a tea that you can make with black tea or rooibos tea. And you steep it with cinnamon sticks, as you see here, and put your milk of choice, and you can even put some vanilla extract and your sweetener of choice. And this is a really nice, cozy, comforting type of tea. You can serve it hot, and then you can even serve it iced. So our tea of the week, vanilla cinnamon milk tea. And while we are sipping on our tea, I think some of them put their tea already in the chat. Let us know what tea you're drinking out there. Can you go ahead and put it in the chat? And then we're going to go straight into our locating ourselves. Oh, Monique, she's already kicking it off with chai spice tea. Okay, that's almost like the tea of the week. Tangerine orange tea. Thanks, Nita. Okay, that's all we got tonight.
For teas for now. Yeah, we'll see
Okay.
what else goes up. Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and take a moment to relax ourselves and locate ourselves. And so we're going to take some time to just watch a video and just take some deep breaths and just take a moment to pause and relax.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that time of locating yourselves. And Patrick is going to go ahead and take us into our Tea Time Tuesday tonight.
Thank you, Carmela.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. All right. Ready to pause, reset, and build resilience. Welcome again. Good to have everybody here. All right. We got water. We got water. We got mint tea. We got water. I guess folks are hydrating and refreshing today. All right. Thank you for your tea of choice. Grab your journal and let's get ourselves prepared. I want to dive into our renewal practice for this evening is self-sabotage to self-stewardship as part of our EQ or emotional intelligence series. And this is really about productive wholeness and ways that we can be whole and productive. And I want to start out by saying, Carmela, that productivity is not about doing more.
Right.
It's not about doing more. So I want to let's go to the audience, our tea timers. When you think of the word self-sabotage, what comes to mind? What are your thoughts on the term self-sabotage? All right, the importance of self-sabotage. I want you to bring that up. Give me your thoughts on that. And then I'm going to go back to what we discussed a few weeks ago concerning emotional intelligence, just to make sure we're on the same page and what that means uh, as a foundation. So it's about awareness, it's about regulation, and it's about connection. Self-awareness, being aware of our emotional state, our mental state, regulation, knowing how to regulate that, and then connection, which is our social awareness, which means we're aware of others and where they are. So it's the ability to recognize, regulate, and understand emotions in yourself and in others. Now, it doesn't mean you know why, it doesn't mean going to the core. It is more about awareness. And so it's also part of EQ is being aware when there is self-sabotage, when
Mm-hmm.
perhaps there's something I'm doing that I'm not aware of that's really sabotaging myself. So that's the focus is when we think about self-sabotage, what comes to your thoughts, what comes to your mind, how does that resonate when you think of the term self-sabotage? And then we're going to shift over to self-stewardship and the importance of that. So let's bring up a few answers here. Please feel free to share, tea timers. You being your own hindrance. Thank you, Darlene. Absolutely. You
Mhm.
being your own hindrance. Anybody else here? Crystal says, tend to beat myself up, being hard on myself, being my worst enemy. Absolutely. Self sabotage. Want to take the next few, Carmela? Hmm.
Yes, Pamela, she's saying exhibiting behaviors that undercut positive movement to underlying fear,
All right. So
due to
exhibit.
underlying fear.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you for that. Anybody else, please free to share. When you think about self-sabotage, what are your thoughts? That's what we're going to focus on,
Mhm.
is moving from self-sabotage to self-stewardship. But the key thing is we got to be aware that we're possibly doing that. So I want us to make sure there's awareness that we look at different actions or thoughts that we do that sometimes we may not even notice that we do that could be considered self-sabotage. There's many of them. I have about 10 that I have here. We're only going to cover three with the time that we have. And I thought about it, trying to kind of get down to the lowest common denominator of what is self sabotage. But first, I want to give you a framework. I don't have a slide for this, but I want you to write this down as a way of coaching yourself so that you can be aware when you're entering into that self sabotage. All right, let's write down the word presence. Everybody type in the comments presence. All right, presence, which is awareness of what captures your focus. So, presence is about awareness of what captures your focus. And so, there's a question behind this particular framework, presence, everyone, which is awareness of what captures your focus. And, Carmela, one of the things that we're going to think about is uh, the question we need to ask about presence is, where is your attention going?
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
Where is your attention going? We got a few more comments coming in. Let's
This
go
is
ahead and
good.
read these. I think it's important for us to
Yeah,
notice these.
this is good. Sharon, she's saying creating unnecessary blocks that hinder development. Kind of put that
Mm-hmm.
on it. That's good. And
Mm-hmm.
Darlene is saying having something to do uh, or work on, but not completing it.
Mm-hmm.
Monique is saying getting in your own way.
Mm. Okay. Everybody, presence.
Yeah.
So, awareness of what captures your focus. That's presence, which means where is your attention going? Now, I want to ask this question as a foundation before we get into our three areas of self sabotage. When you think about presence, everybody, and the second one's going to be purpose. Number two is going to be purpose. And then there's going to be a meaning and a coaching question underneath that as well, a renewal question. All right. And you're kind of it's going to help you coach yourself when you catch yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to ask yourself this week, where is my attention going?
Mm-hmm.
And sit back and answer that question. Where is your attention going? Mel, what are your thoughts on this when you think about self sabotage based upon our definitions and descriptions that are coming in?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on presence and being aware of what captures your focus as far as like where's your attention going and how that could contribute or not contribute to self sabotage?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And when you ask that question to define what we thought self sabotage was, mine
Mm-hmm.
is similar. I put to block your own self and to
Mm,
undermine what you're doing. And so when you came with the framework just now about presence and being aware of what captures your attention or your focus, well, for me, presence is showing up, fully engaged in the moment, and it would behoove us to have presence because presence will help us identify how we're blocking ourselves. I just said, what is that
mm,
thought? Wait a minute. What is that mindset now?
mm.
Um, I'm aware that I'm getting in my own way. So presence, I think, helps us to be fully engaged in what's actually happening because, in actuality, what you were saying, um, emotional intelligence is all about self-awareness. So
Yep.
putting ourselves in the picture, putting ourselves back into the frame. What is happening? Why am I thinking this? Why am I
Hmm.
getting in my own way? And what am I doing, to get in the way of progress of what I'm doing?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you for that. So, folks, I want you to think about what we just said. Carmela just said to block your own self. All right, to block your own self. And I want you to consider when you think about presence this week, All right, whatever you're facing tomorrow and whatever it is you're dealing with from a self sabotage to self stewardship, which is the other side, where is your attention going? The next one is purpose. All right, purpose. Let's put that in the comments, everyone. Purpose. And where does that relate? How does that resonate with you when you think about purpose, which is alignment with values and goals? Purpose is about aligning with values and goals. Aligning with values and goals. That's purpose in this instance. Okay. So I want you to think about self sabotage through this lens also. Why does this matter to you?
That's good. That's good.
If I'm going to move out of self sabotage and move into self stewardship, I need to consider presence, which is what? Awareness of which captures your focus, and purpose, which is alignment with values and goals. Because what that does, it gets you back to your anchor. It gets you back to where you need to be. That's why we pause, reset, and build resilience all the time. Why?
Yeah.
You got to get back to what anchors you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're all over the place. They call it your true north, right? It calls it your where you're gravitating towards. Those are critical pieces into establishing productive wholeness. Now, again, productivity, hear this, everyone, is not about doing more. For those of you that got to do something constantly, you got to be busy. Productivity is not about doing more. You may think it is, but why have more to do at the sacrifice of your being? And we focus on doing so much that our being becomes sacrificed, right?
Yeah.
So productivity is about becoming more aware, it's becoming more aligned, as we're talking about here, aligning, and also attentive. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So I want to dive into that also, Mel. What are your thoughts here about purpose relating to self-sabotage and self-stewardship? And I'm going to bring up some comments in a moment.
And we were thinking the same thing just about. When as you were talking and I started thinking about purpose, I said purpose is like a compass that points us back to what matters, that centers us. So my mind, you were saying anchor, my mind went to compass, and you're talking about true north always brings you to the center and where you really supposed to be, where you're supposed to be. And so as I thought about that with self-sabotage, one of the things about purpose is what matters. So if you think about what really matters, you would think why, the questions of why am I blocking myself then? Because if I'm bringing my whole self, that means, am I confident? Am I trusting in what I'm doing? And, where's the confidence that I have in myself that says I can do this? Or am I going to undermine my decisions or undermine what I'm doing? But if I focus back on, well, what matters, that's that holds everything together. That's what fuels confidence. My 2 cents, I think that it fuels confidence and fuels courage. It fuels intentionality, tenacity, all of those things. If we settle into why we are, purpose is what we are and why we are.
This is good. Alignment with values and goals. Alignment, and the underlying question regarding purpose is also, why does this matter to you? So that means we need to recalibrate. You talked about that a while ago. Last year you did a tea time on calibration and the importance of recalibrating. What happens when we don't calibrate or alignment, get a wheel alignment in the car. So it's important that we're able to do that. So again, presence is about awareness of what captures your focus. Purpose is about alignment with values and goals, which is, why does this matter to me? The next one in this framework, and then I've got a few practices we're going to focus on as far as what causes this self-sabotage mindset, is practice. You got to practice. Consistent small steps. You've got to practice. So we need to ask ourselves questions and be honest about that. Is what habits or what habit sustains your growth, or what habits sustain your growth. Thinking about the consistent small steps. What are you putting into practice each day that causes you to take consistent small steps to answer the question, what habits sustain my growth? That's a journaling moment.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think is conversely, we can say what habits don't.
Yeah. Excuse me.
hmm Everybody that's put in practice. That's the third one. So our first pillar is presence. The first pillar is presence. The second one is purpose, aligning with values and goals. Our third one is practice, which is consistent small steps, asking ourselves the question, what habits sustain my growth? I'm thinking about that right now. You know, we are all the sum total of our habits.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
That's true.
it's a hard reality, but
It is. It's the
so
truth.
we got to think about what habits are we putting out there for ourselves that cause us to. Matter of fact, we have habits where we just accept things that we shouldn't accept. We have
Mm-hmm.
habits that do harm to ourselves. We have habits that don't advance who we are. And we also have other more growth oriented habits. So I want us to think about practice is about consistent small steps and making sure that when I think about goals, it's measurable progress in reasonable time. Reasonable time. You're not going to do it overnight. All right. Measurable progress. So we got to ask the question about about practice. All right. Next one is perseverance. All right. Perseverance. And in perseverance, all right, to persevere, everybody, let's put that out there. Persevere. Perseverance is about learning through imperfection. So this addresses the perfectionists out there today. That you got to have it all together. Come on, perseverance is about learning through imperfection.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that perfectionistic mindset can be one of the most gross, impacting, self-sabotaging
Mm-hmm.
mindsets and self-expectations.
Yeah.
So it's critical that we learn through imperfection
Ooh.
instead of expecting perfection. So my question is, how will you stay when it gets difficult? How will you stay the course when things don't go the way you want them to go? My job, my life, this situation, that. How will you stay when it gets difficult? Perseverance says, how am I learning through this imperfection? Thoughts, Carmela? I see over there. See the ticker going.
Yeah, my wheels are spinning over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm telling you, it's kind of making me think about practice, what you were talking about practice. So I'm going back to that. My mind is thinking because I think practice keeps us from being stuck. And when we're stuck, now I'm going somewhere with it, when
Yeah.
we're stuck, sometimes it could also be because that there's that perfectionism, and perfectionism causes you to procrastinate. Uh,
Yeah.
it'll cause you to have that all or nothing. If it, it got to be just right, all or nothing. There's no gray area. It's just black and white, and that's it. And
Mm.
you won't step out. You won't move out. Because
Mm.
you're so concerned about well, if it's not right, if it's just not right, I can't step out, and you won't persevere, you won't learn. Haven't arrived. I always put my hand up about that. But one thing I'm learning is, if you could just put one step in front of the other, it'll keep you from being stuck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
perseverance is the opposite or antithesis of being stuck. Because you just keep
Mm-hmm.
going. You keep pressing, even though it's tough. It's, even though it's hard, you're just learning that, okay, I messed up a little bit. Wasn't perfect, but at least I'm trying.
Yep. Yep. That's good. Keep pressing. Learning through imperfections. how we're going to stay with it when things get difficult, when things get hard. All
Yeah.
right. And that means we're going to need to take time to say, okay, hey, this is difficult. This is challenging. This is a
Yeah.
weak space. What am I learning about myself? What am I learning about the situation? And folks, stay there long enough to document. Stay there long enough to really set and sit with what you're experiencing so that you can learn through the imperfection. So we've covered 4 areas of our framework today. All right. Number 1 was what? Presence, which is awareness of what captures your focus. 2 was purpose, aligning with values and goals. 3, practice, consistent, small steps. 4, perseverance, learning through imperfections. All right. We want to ask the different questions. Where's your attention going? Why does it matter to you? What habits sustain your growth? How will you stay with it when it gets hard? These are 4 areas right now, whatever it is that many of you are facing in the area of self-sabotage. If you do this going through your month of November, you'll see growth. Do it this week. You'll see growth through it, so I can get out of self-sabotage mindset. Now I want to go to our 3 areas that we need to be aware of. All right? In order for us to be able to really press through our experiences in the area of self-sabotage. Everybody ready? All right. Manage your attention. Manage your attention. We talked about presence, right, Carmela? So
Yes.
I think we need to notice when our attention drifts. Notice when your attention drifts and create rituals that guard your mental space.
That's good.
You really, and one thing I like about what you do in your through your coaching business, actually, you talk about time utilization versus time management, and that's
Right.
interesting. But I want
Hmm.
to just shift a little bit here because we really don't manage the time; we really manage our attention in that time.
Okay, now that's good.
So, I mean, we're really
Hmm.
managing our attention during a certain time and space. So it's important that when we think about manage your attention, that is about presence and your ability to return to what matters. Please put that in the comments, everyone. To return to what matters in your job, what matters in your team, what matters in the moment, what matters in your friendships and relationships, what matters in terms of values. Managing your attention, and we often say things like, well, we're running out of time, when really we're running out of attention.
It's good.
Well, I'm running out of time. You're really running out of attention, not necessarily time. You still have it, thankfully, but
Mm-hmm.
wherever our attention goes is where our time goes.
That's right.
So productivity doesn't necessarily begin with a to-do list. It begins where your attention lands. So if my attention is all over the place, if I have a to-do list, whatever grabs my attention will even pull me away from my to-do list. So it's important for us, if we're going to get out of self-sabotage, people who are, you're constantly just all over the place, getting pulled here, not getting back to my core, not getting back to my anchor. Here it is again. My attention is shifting. I got to be intentional about my attention
Mm.
to get out of self-sabotage. And you got to create rituals. That might mean things are just constantly pulling on me. Well, what are you going to do then? Are you going to shift your attention with intentionality, where you can create some guards around your mental space
Yeah.
so you can get rerouted back to what gets your attention and what doesn't get your attention? And attention management versus time management is about choosing what deserves your awareness instead of reacting to everything that demands it. Oh, I feel like I'm going in. Let me calm down a little bit. So,
Can I say something real quick?
go right
I
ahead.
love what you're saying. I'm telling you, you are going in tonight.
Okay, excuse me for that.
I say just something real quick. The to-do list still needs strategy.
And there it is.
You still got to have strategy even with a to-do list,
Mm-hmm.
or you'll still be all over the place.
That is the truth. We got to return back to what matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
really do. And you're right. Your to-do list does need a strategy, which is how you give it attention,
Right.
how you bring it to life. And so I think that attention, Renee said,
Yeah, I
you
know you're
preaching.
preaching.
I ain't preaching. I'm on tea time. I'm trying to pause tonight. I'm trying to pause and build my resilience. All right. So let's think about this. I have a reflection prompt I want you to do. And I want you to think about this. During your week, I want you to share an attention leak. We can do that right now if you want. What's an attention leak versus an attention anchor?
Yeah.
Everybody think about that now. What is an attention leak? A leak versus an attention anchor. I want you to think about today. I want you to think about this week. I want you to think about what is your attention leak versus your attention anchor.
Mm.
And then I want you to think about what can you change.
Yeah.
So as a practice, when we think about manage your attention is the currency of productivity. Attention is going to fund it. It's going to fund your productivity because you'll be focused less on the outcomes and more the journey of calm and peace and being healthy as you get there. What good is it for you to get there and you're beat down?
That's right.
So you want to notice when your attention starts to drift.
That's good.
And I want everybody to think, I want you to journal about it. I want you to consider sharing it. One attention leak. If you feel comfortable, put it in the comments. What's an attention leak or what's an attention anchor that you can change today? One of my leaks is not reacting to somebody else's reactions. So I'm working, I'm in a call, I'm engaging, something is said, and I notice myself just staying calm and like, that's an interesting perspective. I didn't even react. I just kind of, just because you're reacting doesn't mean I need to react. So I think we need to think about what is an attention leak. That was something that was trying to leak. Now, maybe a little bit a while ago, I perhaps would have reacted a certain way. Even if it wasn't shown, I would have had it in my mindset. But today or during this moment, I did not. So that could have been considered, an attention leak. So I want you all to think about, tea timers, what are your attention leaks and what are your attention anchors? And then change it. Manage your attention. Any thoughts, Carmela?
Yeah. I was thinking about attention leaks could be time wasters. Some of the things I share, when it comes to time utilization. But for me, it could be a time waster. And for that could be like doing double duty instead of consolidating stuff. Like you just drove to somewhere, but then you get right back in the car and you drive in the same, let me go back. It's wasting time, and you're sabotaging the things that you want to do because you're doing double duty, other things. You're wasting time, or you scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And all of a sudden it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean, just, I'm just speaking in general terms, it could be that. It could be, anything that wastes your time and draws your attention away from what you're supposed to be doing. The double duty thing is a heavy hitter sometimes because you instead of consolidating your time, you're doing more. You're like an overdrive, doing too much. Instead of, like, I'm going to go to the store. Or if you're going to the store, if there's other things in that same area, do it all at one time. But then you come home and then you go back out and you come back, and pretty soon, what you could have been doing, the time has slipped away and you're not really using your time wisely. So I think time wasters for me is an attention leak for me.
That's good.
Attention leak.
Anybody else? What are some of your uh, attention leaks? All right, attention leaks. Our first focus today is about manage your attention. We often say we're running out of time, but the truth is we're running out of attention.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go to number 2. Get over preconceived notions. That's number 2. Get over preconceived notions. Now, this is another self-sabotage mindset, which helps us get into self-stewardship. So we're giving you both. We started out with the framework with those 4 P's. Then we're moving into what are some of the ideas and concepts and mindsets that are self-sabotaging behaviors. One, we just said, was managing your attention. And here's the second one, which is get over preconceived notions. This is important because assumptions, preconceived notions are shortcuts that protect our ego, but they limit our growth. When you start assuming how something is already going to go, when you're assuming when something is going to already go, or you start predicting the future, you rob yourself of discovery when you assume you already know how something will go. I need to have this conversation. I need to do this. I need to do that. Well, they're not going to listen anyway. You already, they're not going to, or the situation is going to be like, and we already predict because we have a preconceived notion about something else or ourselves. And as a result of that, we really limit our growth.
Yeah.
And when we assume that something's going to go a certain way, we rob ourselves of discovery, curiosity, and ultimately creativity. Okay? When you stay open, it doesn't mean you lose discernment. You just release the rigid mindset that keeps you small in your thinking.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that? T-timers, come on, any thoughts on that? When you think about how preconceived notions can rob you, all right? Your world will expand when you stay curious, not when you have a preconceived notion. When you stay curious and you're open, regardless of the environment, regardless of the externals, definitely regardless of the internals, make sure that you remain open and expand and stay curious and not become victim to a preconceived notion. That means pausing before you judge. That means, observe initial reactions. That means explore an alternative view. Maybe your way is not the best way. Maybe there's another view. Maybe 1 + 1 = 3. What do you mean? Your idea, my idea, our idea. Maybe there's a third option that we build together. We come with different concepts, but then we create one together.
Yeah.
And we just keep growing from there and evolving. So I think it's important that we look at how we get over preconceived notions to get us out of self-sabotage. And I like your thoughts on this, Carmela, as well as UT timers. When you think about getting over preconceived notions, how does that contribute to self-stewardship when you get over it?
Well, it allows you to trust. When you're talking about stewardship, that means you're manning what's been given to you.
Yeah.
And you're trusting. Also, you're stepping into one of the things that jumps out to me about this part of it is going back to what emotional intelligence, a part of emotional intelligence and the interrelational that you, when you're with others and, recognizing how you feel and how they feel, you're trusting. You're going into trust and learning and vulnerability at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good way when you're talking about stewarding. Okay, well, I'm not perfect all the time, and nobody else is. So you're allowing other people to have what's that word I want to say? Giving them latitude to express how they view things, and then you take on you learn from them. You can extract from them, and then yourself. You're like, oh wow, I learned something about myself today. That I didn't, I did something that I thought I couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of jumped out at me about really what different aspects of emotional intelligence, that piece, so how you relate your emotions, how you feel about yourself, and how you relate when you're in the presence of someone else, instead of having that preconceived notion. Give it
Mm,
a chance, give it a chance.
yeah, yeah. Because sometimes we're judging a situation before truly engaging with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like we have a bias about ourselves and even bias about others or about a
Others.
situation. And as a result of that, I close other doors to thought and perspective and insight because I'm carrying that with me. Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Any thoughts out there, folks? Tell us a little bit about that. What are you thinking when you think about managing your attention and about getting over preconceived notions? All right. So again, as we're exploring this last subject on emotional intelligence, and we're dealing with from self-sabotage to self-stewardship, we've covered manage your attention. We often say we're running out of time, but the truth is we're running out of attention. We've dealt with get over preconceived notions. When you assume you already know how something will go, you rob yourself of discovery.
Yeah.
That's what happens when there's preconceived notion, just like you clearly described there, Carmela. And I want to go to number three, which is lower your standards. Perfectionism. Now, when I say standards, I'm not talking about value systems that maintain order in your life. Standards in the sense that when we have perfectionistic results, we're not accepting the imperfections that we have. All right? Progress over perfection. All right? Perfection is unattainable in that type of perspective. You demonstrate true mastery when you embrace imperfection as part of your what we call iterations. In the work that I do, we have to iterate often. And so many times when we're iterating, we have to learn how to embrace imperfection as part of the iterative process. Now, that's a challenge because I have to expose myself to that may not work. Or there might be another equation. Or there might be another solution. Or I may say, what are you thinking about that? What perspective do you have on that? Somebody said, well, I'm kind of new to this, so I'm not sure. I'm not new to doing the work, but I'm new to this role. I said, but you bring in competencies that we don't have. What are you thinking? Please weigh in because who you are and what you bring with you is fresh, it's new, and maybe I'm too institutionalized that I'm not thinking open as I thought I was because I've been here so long. So I need to be open. So it's important that sometimes we got to just bring it down a little bit and not allow perfectionism to rule us. It doesn't mean lowering your excellence. I want to say that too, by the way. Lowering your standards is not lowering your excellence. Let me just say that for the crowd, people in the back. All right. So we're not lowering our standards. We're lowering. We're not lowering our excellence. Excuse me. Just because we're lowering a standard of imperfection, and what it means is I'm releasing unrealistic expectations that block creativity. Because if you have an expectation on yourself and you're not seeing advancement, I mean tangible advancement, not ideal advancement, but tangible advancement, perhaps there's perfectionism in your mind. Any thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. I think that's excellent what you're explain. I think self-discovery and exploration goes hand in hand together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There has to be some kind of balance when,
Okay.
everybody brings something to the table.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So it's important that we think about, and I wrote down a question about this, just in my own time reflection. This is a question, a renewal question. Where are you waiting to be perfect before beginning? I'm like, oh my goodness. Where are you waiting to be perfect before beginning?
Ooh,
So I'll let everybody sit with that.
yeah, that is a good question.
Where are you waiting to be perfect before beginning? I believe that effort counts, and it's important that You want to celebrate completion sometimes, not necessarily perfection. Somebody say, well, oh, that meeting was a mess. And I said, sometimes so are recipes, but the food may still taste good. And it's like, oh, so yeah. So that's relative. Mess is relative in that situation. What can we get? What goodness can we get from it? All right. Giving myself permission to grow.
Yeah.
Said I was like, well, you know what? I'm giving myself permission to grow. This might be our second or third engagement in this situation. I'm going to grow through this. I'm going to continue to evolve. I'm going to celebrate the effort. I'm going to continue to document. I'm going to continue to grow because everybody deserves a right to grow, and we should give ourselves permission to grow. So I want everybody to ask this question: where are you waiting to be perfect before beginning? And friends, that's important when we think about lowering your standards. Your perfection is unattainable, and pursuing it prevents progress. All right. So we've covered a lot in tea time tonight. Almost out of time
Mhm.
here. I want everybody to think about that. Um, Tea timers, I want you to think about what are some of your takeaways, what resonated with you this evening, what was new, how does this address self-sabotage to self-stewardship in your life, in the work that you're doing. Love to hear from you and get your thoughts before we wrap up our tea time session today. Carmela, any thoughts, perhaps what resonates with you that you want to share, any perspectives? Love to hear from you.
I love this. Going back to the 4 pointers with I'll say the 4 P's that
Mm-hmm.
you gave us: presence, purpose, practice, and perseverance. What I like about it is, again, this type of model you can go in and out of in not no respective order.
Mm,
Again, and I like that because you can always bounce back to, you might be in the midst of engaging in something, and then you're like, oh, you might need to pull on purpose right now.
mm-hmm.
And while I'm pulling on purpose, I might need to maybe I need to move into perseverance a little bit. And I like how you can use this at any point in time,
Yes, you can.
help you not, you know, block your own progress.
I don't want to do that either. My takeaway is about um, why does this matter to you?
Hmm.
Aligning with values and goals, and making sure I go back to why does this matter to me so that I can regain my anchor and regain a focus on values and goals and continue to evolve from there. So, love to hear from you, T timers, as we go through a few of our final announcements and recaps. Please feel free to place in the comments what you've gained tonight, what are your takeaways, what are key learns, some reminders, areas you're going to sharpen and focus on, perhaps even something new. And I encourage you, share this with someone else. Please make sure you likes. All right, let's get the likes up. We only got a few likes tonight. We got more people watching than likes. Let's get the likes up. I want to get more subscribers. We have a goal to get 200 subscribers right now. We're at about 133. I like everyone watching to share this link with someone else and say, subscribe to the Renewal Center. All right. Share this and on your pages, share it with your friends, share it with your family, and say subscribe to the RC, the Renewal Center, and Tea Time Tuesday, each Tuesday, first and second at 12 p.m. And of course, our fourth special tea time on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. So I want to remind everybody of that. Also want to remind you that tomorrow here at the Renewal Center, we do have our Wednesday Reforming Culture. Tomorrow is our fifth Wednesday, which is prayer. We want to invite you out tomorrow evening at 7:30, all right, for our prayer. Generally, we're teaching on Christology of spiritual formation, but tomorrow is going to be a time of prayer. Want to encourage you to please come out tomorrow. Please register with us. It's the same link for our Friday morning prayer, which is every Friday at 6:30 a.m. So if you want to log in tomorrow, there's the Zoom information right there at the bottom. Go ahead and take a screenshot of it if you'd like, or download the mobile app and you can register from there. You can go to our social media and register from there, as well as our website, therenewalcenters.com/give. So we'd love to see you there again tomorrow evening, 7:30 p.m. And every Friday morning at 6:30 a.m. we have a time of prayer. And of course, I want to remind you this coming Sunday here at the Renewal Center, we do have our fifth anniversary. We're celebrating 5 years of existence here in North Carolina, and I'm so excited. So please join with us live on our YouTube channel this Sunday, 10 a.m. for our New You Digital Discipleship. We are excited about that. And then I also want to say this coming Saturday. All right, Carmela.
Yes, this coming Saturday, Women at the Well Bible Study Series is coming back on the first Saturday, and we are picking up in the next chapter of our book, Becoming a Woman Whose God is Enough. We've been talking about the sufficiency of God. Come on out, join us, go to our webpage, go to our social media outlets, find out how you can sign up and join us this coming Saturday. We'd love to have you. And fellowship
Absolutely.
starts at 10.
10 o'clock Saturday,
Virtual
ladies.
fellowship.
That's right. Share this, share this. Don't keep it to yourself. Come and connect. This is once per month. And I tell you, it's been incredible journey for the ladies that have attended it,
Yeah.
strengthening your foundation, strengthening the word of the Lord in your life. So I want to encourage you each first Saturday, please come. So that's this coming Saturday, of course. Look forward to seeing you. And lastly, want to thank everybody for participating in our tea time. Please put in the comments what your takeaways are, your ideas, what you've learned, what you're going to apply. I want to give you an opportunity if you'd like to support the Renewal Center. These are the different ways you can give digitally to us, as well as mail a check or money order. Our website, therenewalcenters.com/give. Then you could text the Renewal Center to 888-364-4483 to support us. We have PayPal and Zelle, which are both the Renewal Center 2020 at gmail.com, and then Venmo at Renewal Center. If you're remote and say, hey, I would like to mail a check or money order, please feel free to mail your check or money order to P.O. Box 1381, Concord, North Carolina 28026. So I'd like you to think about and consider partnering with us. And as you pray about it, as you consider it, I want to thank you for being a part of the RC. All right. Well, again, thanks everybody for being on. Let's see if we have any. Let's see here. Oh, we
We
got
had
some
a lot of
takeaways.
engagement tonight.
Let's see what we got here. All right, go ahead, Carmel. Let's read these out.
Darlene, her takeaways tonight. Perfectionism can rob you of curiosity, discovery, and creativity. Thank you, Darlene. Yes. And Sharon, not about doing, but being intentional to align with my purpose to move towards what really matters. Thank you. And Pamela, she's saying her takeaway is practice, using consistent small steps, focusing on habits that sustain my growth and eliminate those that don't. Thank you, Pamela. These are some great takeaways tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Monique. Yes, yes. Congratulations on the Renewal Center's 5 years. Yes, that's Monique, one of our other ministry team leaders. Yes, I'm
Absolutely. This is
excited
great.
about this.
Well, thanks everybody for being on tonight as we've shared concerning the moving from self-sabotage over to self-stewardship. I hope this has been a strength. Please like it. Please subscribe. Please share. Let's get him up. We're at 133. I'm looking forward to the end of November saying we got 200, if not over that. There's too much goodness and information in this tea time to just not let it go out there and share with others. So
That's right.
I want to thank everybody for being on. Any more comments coming in? Make sure. Oh, another takeaway. Another takeaway. You're going to get this one before we close
Yes,
out.
Monique, she's coming back with return to what matters and identify attention leaks.
All right. Excellent. Well, folks, we're going to close out again with a. Got any more coming in? Oh, okay. All right. Just want to make sure. All right. Great
Charlisa.
session tonight. Thank you for wisdom shared to strengthening my living daily. All right. You're welcome. You are welcome. Well, we're going to locate ourselves again. And let's just pause and reset and build resilience. We'll see you next Tuesday at noon for our next tea time. Looking forward to November. Have a very good evening.
Good night.